But that is the biggest problem actually. The desire you will observe is the biggest problem. Because that is not well defined. And therefore we have 8 forms of the self called the Jivatman. So the Jivatman is existing in 8 different forms. And these 8 forms are pulling in 8 different directions, and that is the conflict within the person. Imagine you have something in the center, and there are 8 directions with 8 different tubes, and each tube is pulling in its direction. Isn't there going to be conflict? So every being has a built-in conflict. That conflict is what is another part of this study. So how do we find out which planet is the Atmakaraka? Now observe in the center, I have the Purusha, that is Vishnu. Vishnu is at the center of the chest lotus. Shiva is not here. Shiva is not directly accessible at this. Shiva is only accessible through knowledge, above the head. He is too pure, he can't come down, we say. So Vishnu is here, he is accessible. He is said to be the first son of Shiva in the Shiva Mahapurana. How interesting. The highest longitude planet, irrespective of signs, is called the Atmakaraka. So what you have to do is to draw up a chart and look at the degrees of the planets in the signs. That planet which has the highest degree is the Atmakaraka, or the planet having the highest amount of karma. So what are these degrees? These degrees are nothing but karmas. So a planet at 25 degrees has more karma than a planet at 10 degrees. That is the meaning of planets and degrees. So simply because a planet is in 29 degrees, there's nothing to feel happy about it. He's got a ton of karma out there. And what? Pardon?
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Are we talking about Vedic now, or?
Yeah, I guess we have to, because we are talking of a sidereal chart. Because no, she's got a valid question. Because you see, which chart shall I take? Shall I take a sidereal chart or shall I take a tropical chart? Right. Both sidereal and tropical are Vedic. I can quote the Vishnu Puran if you want it. Okay. So the point is, when people say, hey, tropical chart is not Vedic, I said that you don't know the Vedas. The question is, when we talk of karma and God, are we bound by the solar system, or is there something outside the solar system? There is something outside the solar system, isn't it? If there is, those stars out there, come on, in the night sky. And how do we align with those stars? Why are we only stuck up with our little world out here? When we align with those stars in the night sky, that's a sidereal chart we're talking of. But when we are only looking at our little system, solar system, and the seasons and the rain and the life out here, then it is a tropical chart. If I have to predict rain, what charts will I use? Tropical is better. Eclipses, tropical chart is better. Parashara is very clear about this. In the book Vishnu Puran, he has talked about both the charts. He uses different words. He calls them Niryana and Sayana. Niryana means sidereal, Sayana means tropical. So if Parashara talks about it, nobody else has a right, as I say, among the Vedic scholars. You are not bigger than Parashara. So here we are talking about the sidereal because we believe that the soul is not limited just to this solar system. How do you know you are not an alien? You may have come from some galaxy.
Yeah.
I feel like that. That's why, I walk around the planet and I think, what is this? See that?
Yeah.
We feel sometimes you feel, I feel out of the world.
Yeah, completely agree.
Exactly. So you see, aligning with the stars gives us our position in the whole cosmos. That's why we need to use the sidereal chart for this purpose. Good question. Now, having got the sidereal chart, we take the planet, how much a planet has advanced in a particular sign. It's not important from 0 degrees Aries. We take the planets in the different signs, we forget the sign, and we see how much it has advanced. For example, I have got Saturn in Capricorn in 26 degrees 50 minutes. So for me, Saturn is 2650. The karma of Saturn is 2650. About 27 degrees of karma it's got up there. Then I have Jupiter at 26 degrees 7 minutes in Pisces. So I will say, hey, my Jupiter has got 26 degrees 7 minutes of karma, again 27th degree. If I take degrees of the zodiac, Western astrologers know degrees of the zodiac very well. I don't have to tell you. Whereas the Vedic astrologers don't know anything about the degrees. It's really sad, it's really sad. So they hold on to something, they won't share. How foolish. Degrees are so important. Okay, now look at that. So therefore, Parashara, this is all Parashara talking, not me. So therefore, Saturn is slightly more than Jupiter, although both of them are in the 27th degree of the signs. But because Saturn is at a slightly more, he gets the position of the Atmakaraka, because that is the maximum karma the soul has to burn. Atmakaraka simply means maximum karma to be burnt. So therefore you have come here, you have reincarnated here to burn that karma. That's the big pile of trash you carried. Once we are clear what we are looking at, it's easy. So fine, if we call that trash, that means we are going to be punished for that, right? Is that very Catholic or is that okay?
Sinners.
So at some point looks like we are all sinners, is it? It depends, It depends how this planet is placed. Is it placed in a house of knowledge? That means I'll have to burn karma by getting knowledge, seeking knowledge, by passing knowledge, by sharing knowledge. My whole karma is associated with knowledge. That's how my karmas will burn. Is it in the ascendant? Oh, that's going to give me a lot of fame, power, position, a good life. I will enjoy a hell of a lot. They say kings have the ascendant associated with the Atmakaraka. And further down, they will say quietly, kings will not get moksha. But that's very quiet, So the interesting part is, depending upon the place, the houses which are associated with the Atmakaraka, those houses get highlighted in your chart. Because that's where you have to burn the karma. Those are people you are sort of subservient to. Imagine if the Atmakaraka is in the 7th house. What are you? I am a doormat. Because it is in the 7th house. Every day morning you get up and touch your wife's feet and say namaste. Because the king or the queen is in the 7th house. She decides whether you will smile today or not. It's as simple as that.
Could it not mean the other way, that you might not have, your karma is not to have a spouse or...
Nah, that's wishful thinking.
She's become worthy of
See, the
marriage.
idea that you have to burn that karma means you will have a spouse. And you will choose one by which you will burn that karma. That is the meaning of that.
Or she will choose you.
Yeah.
Don't torture the guy.
Don't torture.
See, the point is, all depends on which house. You see, try to understand. Everybody had a very rosy notion about this. Atmakaraka, king. No. He is the king, not you. That planet is the king in your chart. You are not the king. That king will get to decide what he likes and what he doesn't like in your chart. If he likes the 7th house, you will have a beautiful spouse. If he likes the 4th house, you will have the highest comforts. Unbelievable. If he likes your 5th house, you will have beautiful children. It depends which houses does he like. What about the houses he does not like? We know that no planet likes the 6th or the 8th house from where he is, right? So from where he is sitting, look at the 6th and look at the 8th. Those are the two things he doesn't like. That's your problem in life. Easy. If in my chart, the king is in the 11th house. So which is the 6th from the 11th? Is it not the 4th house? So do I like properties? Oh no, my God. Do I like to go back home? No. So I am going to, first opportunity, I'll run away from home. I'll live in hostels. I'll study in boarding schools. See my soul. And then finally, I will also take up a job outside home. I am never going to go back to the 4th house. Because from the soul, the 4th house is no. So how am I going to be happy? Because 4th is the house of happiness. So can I say that if in a chart, the Atmakaraka or the soul is in the 11th house, forget happiness? Isn't that a very heavy statement? But that's true. So don't waste your life looking for happiness. That's not coming.
Maybe we should go to the pub now.
Just think about it. You see, this is what the soul does. The soul, again, who is the soul? It is you. So who is denying the happiness? You are denying the happiness to yourself. What a peculiar situation. What happens if, let us say, this soul was in the 12th house, Atmakaraka, which is the 8th house from there? Is it not the 7th house of relationship?
Yes.
Now you know what's happening with the relationships. It's easy. It's not happening. Simple as that. All your calculations, when will I have this thing, when will I meet somebody? Well, you meet somebody every day, don't you? Don't you see new people in the faces on the park? What relationship are you talking about? It's never going to happen. You know why? Because you don't want it. Deep inside you don't want it, but you don't know that you don't want it.
So is that why if, let's say for example, the Atmakaraka is in the 12th, that would be a good place for somebody living in an ashram or doing like in a monastery lifestyle, maybe where they don't have to necessarily pursue.
No, that's a very, that's a logical depressive thinking.
I think the what
It's logic that comes out of depression.
yeah. Well, they're good
So
times.
we are not, you see my point, that is, try to understand. We really don't, maybe that you want, because the 12th Lord, the 7th Lord of relationships may be with the soul.
Yeah.
If the 7th Lord of relationship is with the soul, you want to have a relationship. But the soul says no. It's a peculiar situation. Try to understand. This is how powerful the soul is. Because you are the soul. You are saying no, but you can't hear yourself saying no. I can hear that because I can see the chart. But it's a problem. How do you tell such a person? How do you tell a young girl who's in her 30s, hey, forget relationship. Here's the rosary. Start. How do you do that? Some things will happen whether you like it or not. Some things will not happen even if you want it. It all depends what your soul agrees with and what it does not agree with. Isn't this such an important learning? This is one... Yes, ma'am.
Does this mean that the personality is what you want and the soul is what you need?
Soul is...
Gives you what you need rather than what you want.
Correct. For deep inside, the soul, which is the real you, had a contract. That contract is your birth chart. But your conscious brain is not aware of that contract. Good to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, just as we have one king, which we call the Atmakaraka, and I told you till now you were happy to have a king in the chart, remember, the king is responsible for your loss of freedom. Do you have are you living in a democracy or are you living in a kingdom? What? Both? No, the point is, the problem is, your freedom is lost as soon as there is a king. You have to owe allegiance to the king. And what happens if you don't like the king? You overthrow him? Yes. You see, that's what you will try to do for your whole life. And that means you are going to be fighting and fighting and fighting. And you can look at the person, talk to the person for 5 minutes, and you can make out this person is fighting the king for many years. Basically, you're fighting inside. And who you're fighting? You're fighting your inner self. Your own karmas you're trying to fight. The more you fight, you will lose. You can't fight yourself. How stupid is that? So the question is, that is the king. So you need to start thinking about the king. Now we talk about the next level. What happens to that planet which is just below the highest? He's called the Amatya. Amatya means minister. The one who does all the job in a chart. Like a chessboard. There are 8 pieces and there are pawns. 8 pieces and pawns. This is just like a chessboard. The 8 pieces are the Chara Karakas. There is one king and one queen. The king is Atmakaraka, who doesn't do much. He just hangs around a little bit. Everybody protects him, serves him. And then there is the queen, which we call the Amatya Karaka, the minister we call that. In the chessboard in India, we call minister, we don't say queen. Because the queen doesn't fight. So the minister is the one who's running around all over the board, he's doing everything, doing all the job is his. He's the brains. He gets the money. He is the purpose for your existence. He makes your existence meaningful. He finds someone whom you can serve. And then one day you become the boss. So it is the Amatya Karaka. Then number 2, who is really the one who shows your career direction. Then after that is your Bratri Karaka, the knowledge and the guru. So based upon the knowledge that you want, you will look for a guru. If you want to learn mathematics, why will you go to a biology teacher? So based upon the planet, that is the Bratri Karaka, the third in the line, third in the hierarchy, I know what sort of a knowledge you are seeking. Planets conjoining that planet, how much of knowledge? What are you seeking? And accordingly you will find a teacher who will give you that knowledge. Then Matrikaraka, it is the mother and the land. Which land feels like the mother? Which land feels like the mother? Which land is giving you shelter? Which land is protecting you? I know that there's a lot of astrocartography that goes on. But whatever astrocartography you do, don't forget the Matrikaraka. Because that is the soul. That is where the soul wants to be. That is where the soul is happy. That is the mother where there are some places you go, you feel very happy. And you can't tell why. That's the Matrikaraka. That's your real inner happiness. The land where you will find that inner happiness, where you will get that feeling like a baby feels on seeing the mother. Interesting, huh? That there is a part of you, a part of your soul that has that. Then the Pitrikaraka, father and religion. See, religion is different from knowledge. Religion is different from the guru. Your religion comes from your father. If your father was a Christian, you are a Christian at birth. If your father was a Hindu, you will be a Hindu at birth. Get the point? So the point is, your Pitrikaraka is the father, and that is your religion. Your attitude towards your religion of birth is from there. Do you question the religion, or are you one of those sheep? Needs to be herded. Would you download an app to pay for your sins? There's an app nowadays, you know that, right? No, I'm not kidding. There's an app, you know about that app, right? Yeah, there's a big advertisement on that app. You download the app, you press a button, log in, and you can have anonymous login, because you'll have to confess your sins. Are you sleeping with someone in the office? Yes. So you've got to pay $250. Press the button, it goes to the Catholic. The app is there. I'm not kidding. It's a beautiful app. Right there and there you make a confession and make the payment for the sin. It works. You feel so light. I don't know why people cry. Is it because they lost the money, or is it because the sin went away? I'm not sure. Okay, so either way, religion comes from Pitrikaraka. Whole concept of religion is associated with father. Then comes the Putrakarak, your child and your lineage. How are you as a parent? What is your connection with your child? That is a planet which gives a soul level connection with the child. It's funny, huh? Is there a soul level connection with child? Mothers, women who have been mothers know this. The baby is sleeping. You tiptoe to the dining table, pick up the food. Baby will start shouting. What is this connection? How do you explain this? Have you seen that? Women who have been mothers have noticed that the baby will cry as soon as the mother puts a morsel of food in the mouth. How does that baby sleeping out there know that you have eaten? So there is a connection, you see, there is a connection out there. And that is the connection we are trying to cut off. You're grown up now, get out of the house, you're grown up now. Nobody grows up. Didn't you know that? Nobody grows up. We are all children inside. We all need parenting. That's why we are looking for a guru, we are looking for a teacher. If we didn't need parenting, then why are we looking for a teacher? Okay? So get that. That is the child. Then comes the family Varna. Varna means a club. More like a club. More like a group based upon your profession. Varna is not based upon birth, as has been made now in India. That is after the coming of the Islam. Varna became fixed on birth. If your father is a Brahmin, you will be a Brahmin. If your father is a Kshatriya, you will be a Kshatriya. That's a very Islamic thing. That came after the Islamists. Earlier it was not like that. If you are a good fighter, you will become a Kshatriya. Because if you don't know how to fight and you join the armed forces, you will die. Even before you can pick up the weapon. I still remember, there was this royal family, one of the royal families I had gone to. So the king went inside and I was walking behind with his son, just chatting and going. So there was this gatekeeper, he was standing like this with the sword. As soon as the king went inside, the sword turned around and he was using that as a walking stick. Was that you see that? These are not Kshatriyas. Just because his dad was doing the job, he was doing. See, you can't do a job on the basis of birth. That's absurd. How many musicians have their parents as musicians? So your job is based upon your own self. It is not based upon your dad or mom. Varna is that club to which you belong because of a profession. How are you doing in that club? Does that club support you? Does that club not support you? Is there a lot of friction in that club? That's the Gyati Karaka. Then comes the Dara Karaka, spouse and society. Of course, your spouse is going to come from society, right? You can't find it as emotion or something like that. So, the society to which you want to belong, your spouse will come from that society. It's natural. If you married a Chinese, sooner or later you will start speaking a little bit of the ting tong. It's natural. It's absolute. You start liking it. Why did, who's the Facebook owner? What's his name?
Zuckerberg, Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark. Why did he shift to Singapore?
Why?
Exactly.
He didn't want to pay taxes.
He didn't want to pay taxes?
As well.
No, the conversation is not going there. That is such a wrong thing. Okay, so the point is, spouse is bound to play a role in which society you are going to be. If your spouse doesn't like, let's say you love boxing, going to boxing matches, your spouse doesn't like boxers, that's the end of your boxing matches and all that.
Yes.
Okay, so be clear. Spouses do influence the society in which we are going to be. So that's your Dara Karaka, the lowest degree, the one with the lowest degree. So that's how we have this 8, and based upon this 8, we run our lives. And of course, this is the Ashtamurti. We have 8 faces of Shiva. These are 8 faces of Shiva. You don't need to know this. I mean, you want to know, fine. These are the 8 faces of Shiva. So next time I should send you a picture that I have of this Ashtamurti. I have a brass, real Ashtamurti. Anyway, 8 faces of Shiva in the 8 directions of time. Look at this chart of Abraham Lincoln. Which chart do you understand? I've put 3 types of charts that are drawn over there. This is the sidereal chart. And in this chart, we have Rahu at 15 degrees 45 minutes. So Rahu is the ascending node of the moon. For Rahu, we have to calculate from the end of the sign, not the beginning. That's the only one. For everybody else, we take it from 0 degrees. For Rahu, we take from the reverse. Get the idea? So for all other planets, we have the degrees. You can see the degrees over here. Rahu is 15 degrees 45 minutes. So the effective longitude is called the soul longitude. It's 30 degrees minus 1545, which is 14 degrees 15 minutes. This is what we take into account for Rahu. That is the only planet which we are calculating in the reverse. Everybody else we calculate from the 0 degrees of the sign. That's important. And once we do that, we need to find out the planet. Mercury has the highest longitude among all planets in a sign. You see this Mercury? It has the highest. It's at 19 degrees 7 minutes. Which is low actually. Come to think of it, it's quite low. So the burden of karma is low in the soul. The soul is a good soul. Burden is very low. Very rare. Yes, Krishna had 18 degrees. So you see the point here is Mercury is going to help him become king if he ever wants to become king. If he wants to be the president, real help can only come from Mercury. And what would Mercury mean? Does it mean a little girl? Why not? Yeah. So his highest karmic experience will come from Mercury. So the important lesson that we learn from Abraham Lincoln is Listen to your soul. Listen to the Atmakaraka. Why do we have this lesson? Because you see, little grace beetle, Mercury. Mercury indicates little girl. She told him, if you grow a beard and a mustache, if you have a beard, you will look better and the ladies will like you and they will all vote for you. A little girl wrote a letter to him, and the man who had been defeated in the elections previously decided to have a little beard. All the pictures of Abraham Lincoln that you see are after she wrote that letter to him. He took that little beard, took a train, went to the place where she lived, met her, and said, "Is this the kind of beard you wanted? Here it is." After that, he became president. What did Abraham Lincoln do? He listened to that little girl. How many big men listen to a little girl? I mean, who is she? That's how people think. That was Lincoln. So a very important lesson I learned from Lincoln. What is the lesson? Listen to your soul, for that is the king. You want to become king? Listen to the soul. For the soul represents the voice of Shiva. The Atmakaraka is the voice of Shiva. That is so good for you. Listen to it, and you will achieve your life's purpose. Why are you here? What do you have to do? What do you want to achieve? You will achieve it, provided you listen to the voice. And that voice will come sometimes through other people, depending upon the planet involved. Okay? Mercury is a little girl, right? Can be a little boy also. So we need to find out whether it's a little boy or a little girl. There's a way to find out. Yeah, tell me.
If the highest longitude falls, for example, in sun, moon, or one of them.
So it will be a little more grown up, is it not?
Does it have more?
So if sun had the highest degree, you know what I tell somebody? Listen to your dad. Can you imagine telling that to a young man who has just run away from his house because of his mom? How tough it will be. Just sit him down, explain to him. He's argumentative, he's not willing to listen. Fine, take up a job here, but stay with me. Be okay. At 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, gradually the day will come when he will listen. Okay, I said, don't look at your dad as your dad. Look at him as a guru, as Shiva, as a teacher. Everything will be fine. Because you look at him as a dad, you have a problem. You just got to change the view of the kid. Because this Atmakaraka was in the 6th house. So he felt his dad is always punishing him. I'm the 8th. I'm being punished by dad. That's how he looked at it. I could easily see it in 1 minute. Atmakaraka in the 6th house. So 8th from there is the ascendant. I think I'm a burden, I'm being punished, I'm not good enough, he's always pushing me. I want to run away, I want to go off to England. Why did I come back from England? I said, look, you are the only one, there's a big business, you got to handle it. Slowly. Today he runs the whole business. You cannot, he was throwing away his destiny. All he had to do was to be taught that don't do this. Listen to the soul. Listen to the Atmakaraka, for he is your true friend. It's not your ascendant lord. It's not your moon sign lord, not your sun sign lord. It is that planet who has the highest degree.
Do you pay more attention to the planet or to the sign or both?
So look, the planet is Mercury.
Yeah.
Mercury is the little girl.
Yeah.
So the message of God will come through little children.
Okay.
If it was the sun, message will come through your father. Listen to your father. Moon, listen to your mom.
So you follow the planet.
Yeah.
You follow, correct, you follow the planet. But the sign will tell what you like, what you don't like.
What is Mars?
Mars is the brother.
said that Mercury could also be a little boy.
That's right.
Yeah, and Lincoln lost at least 2 young sons.
Correct.
One in the White House, you know. So
Yes, yes.
would he then have to listen to the message of the lost
Correct.
sons?
Correct. Very correct. That is how God is talking to you. You are right. Because maximum karma is in that planet. And if you look at this chart, the Vedic chart, or sidereal chart, not Vedic, sidereal chart, Mercury is the lord of the house of children. 5th house. You are right. You see, all I am saying is, what you learned today, add it to all that you have learned. It works wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. You have learned so much of astrology. Add this little thing to that. Don't say that what you have learned is wrong. What you have learned is right. Take this and add it to that. Learn to add. Don't throw knowledge away. Add it on.
And what are moon line?
Pardon?
What does moon line if that has the highest line?
Moon.
Yeah. Like
Moon is the mother.
The node.
The node.
Yeah.
The node is the self.
So-
Maybe a foreigner sometimes. Maybe an animal sometimes.
Yes.
An animal, a pet. A pet could show you. In one case, I was talking to this Jack. Remember Jack? He said, you know, Sanjay, how I found my soulmate? I said, how? I just decided he had a big fight with his wife. He found her with somebody or whatever. Stories of America, okay. So, anyway, so he decided he put his stuff in his car and he just drove. From New York, he started driving west. And as he was driving, he saw one crow. He recognized the crow because it was a big one. And he said, wherever the crow would fly, I would follow him during the daytime. Morning, I will wake up, I'll come out of the thing, the crow will shout, and I'll look up, and he's there. And I just followed the crow all the way to California. How interesting. And he's laughing. Can you tell me why that crow was so nice? It brought me right to the house of Suan. How interesting. Sometimes, when man is desperate, the soul sends messages. If you're open to listening, you will listen. If you're not open, deaf ears. The message falls on deaf ears. Interesting, is it not? So, Rahu is the Atmakaraka over here. In the chart of Thakur Ramakrishna. Now Rahu, we say, is in Taurus. When Rahu is in Taurus, the planet indicates immortality. There are 2 positions of planets which indicate immortality. You know what they are? One is Rahu in Taurus and Ketu in Leo. It's very strange. These people become immortals.
In what way?
They don't die. Their bodies are gone, but there is some kind of a soul energy that exists. In India, we talk like Hanuman is immortal. There are some books which say immortal. We don't understand immortality completely. Because the body is gone. According to us, death means the body is dead. And then once the body is dead, the soul has to recycle. But what happens if the soul is not going to recycle? Then what happens to the soul? You see the problem?
Yeah, that's right.
We always say that, okay, you die, then the soul goes through a reincarnation cycle and comes out. What happens if, let's say, your karmas are over, like you're just hanging out there?
You become a ghost.
Why do you have to become a ghost?
You're disembodied.
But what happens if you don't have a mind? That means the soul and the mind are separated, so you're not a ghost anymore.
Is that good or is that bad?
You just exist as pure light. Strange. I've tried to understand this phenomena. what is immortality? There are books that say that this Dronacharya, his son has become immortal. So what does that mean?
I think it's a very good story.
You see, there are different theories. There are many theories, many religions that talk of immortality, isn't it? It's tough to understand what it is. But from this point of view, from the soul point of view, soul is immortal anyway. But then it's not taking another body in this case. So that means he's retaining his identity. So that's the Rahu Atmakaraka over there. But he did achieve it. If you look at both the ascendant lords, they are exalted. Anyway, the word Maharaja is used for kings and big sadhus. Maharaja. So you can see that Rahu is the co-lord of Aquarius. In Vedic we use that. Rahu is the co-lord of Aquarius. And here he is the lord of the ascendant. He is the lord of the ascendant, the sun sign and the moon sign. And he has this placement in Taurus and is the Atmakaraka. So he is like a king out there. He is the king of the sadhus. He is the king of the meditators. Nobody could meditate like him. Nobody. When Swami Vivekananda, when he was in school, he asked, what is meditation? So his English teacher, who was a Brit, told him, hey, there is something called meditation and samadhi. You want to learn all that? There is a Ramakrishna, go and see him. That's how people talked. And they knew. And so, nobody could meditate like him. You see, when you reach that level of meditation, even while standing, you go into meditation. Then other people, you can see the picture out there, somebody is trying to hold him so that he doesn't fall down. He has gone into a meditative trance just while standing. That is the Rahu exalted. Okay, now we'll talk about something else, House of the King. Just one more topic. I know you are all ready to go to sleep. Bear with me. House of the King. Which is the house of the king? We know the king now. The Atmakaraka is the planet with the highest degree. For which is his house? And what is the meaning of that house? That's the palace, is it not? So that is the most important house in your chart. Take this chart of Swami Vivekananda. The Atmakaraka is the sun over here. The soul is indicated by the sun. Sun is the lord of which house? He is the lord of Leo, which is the ninth house. And ninth house is what? Is it the master? The guru? So who is the king in your life? Your guru is your king. You be totally dedicated to the guru. You will achieve what you have to achieve in life. Interesting, isn't it? But he was lucky that Atmakaraka was also in Lagna. It was strong, it was in the ascendant. It was strong in the ascendant. The soul is directly connected to the houses which are lorded by the Atmakaraka. This is a very important lesson. So whichever houses are lorded by the Atmakaraka, your soul is directly connected to those houses and those people. So if sun or moon is your Atmakaraka, it is one house it is connected to. But what happens if it is Saturn or Mercury or Jupiter? It's two houses. Okay? So we can see that everybody knows about his connection to his guru. Even his mantra, the mantra that he did, Om Hrim Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya, was basically mantra of the guru. So his mantra is also the name of his guru. So he achieved self-realization and everything just by that one steadfast following the soul. Listen to the soul. He listened to his guru. Lincoln. why is Virgo? Now the rule, when a planet is the lord of two houses, okay, we have to compare the signs of the Atmakaraka. Now look at the principle that I'm using out there. How to know which is the stronger? Gemini and Virgo are the two houses of Mercury. Look at the two signs. They are completely empty, vacant. No planets are there. The one with planets is stronger than the one without people or without planets. Planets are like people. If planets are there in a sign, it is stronger than the sign without planets. In this case, both are vacant. So both are equally strong. Then we look, does it have an aspect or conjunction of Jupiter, Mercury, or the lord of the sign? If Jupiter aspects, we say the sign is blessed by Shiva. If Mercury aspects, we say the sign is blessed by Vishnu. If the Lord is aspecting, then we say the sign is blessed by the mother. Did you understand that? If Jupiter aspects a sign, is blessed by Shiva. If Mercury, by Vishnu. And if the Lord of the sign is aspecting the sign, the Mother Divine is blessing. So look at the chart very carefully and tell me if either Jupiter or Mercury are aspecting Virgo or Gemini. Jupiter is aspecting both of them.
Yes.
Jupiter aspects both Gemini and Virgo by Rashi Drishti. And if those of you who don't know Rashi Drishtis, the sign site, should learn that. You need to take a few small lectures on that. Site of the signs and things like that. Okay, whatever. Let's say a simple rule. If everything looks similar and the planet is in an odd sign, then the even sign will be stronger. Is Mercury in Aquarius? Aquarius is an odd sign, so therefore Virgo, which is the even sign, will be stronger. This is called the oddity rule. Is the male-female rule. The male seeks the female and the female seeks the male. So if Mercury is in an odd sign, he seeks Virgo, the female sign. That is such an interesting principle. I read this principle also in the writings of the Islamic astrologers. Interesting, isn't it? So if it is Virgo, then it's a girl. Had it been Gemini, I would say a small boy. Interesting, right? And the day it happened, forget all that. Virgo is strong. There's something about nakshatras. I'm not getting into that now.
Just don't.
And nakshatras, constellations, and it's problematic. You need to understand that. That's far more complicated. Look at this, Hitler's Taurus. What is Hitler's Atmakaraka? Venus. Venus was his Atmakaraka. And you can see that Venus is also the lord of Lagna. So he will be king, right? He will be king. Lagna lord is Atmakaraka, he will be king. But what kind of a king is he going to be? Where is the Atmakaraka? It's in the 7th house. 7th is the house of love and war. Not just love. That's why they say all's fair in love and war. All's fair in the 7th house. That's the 7th house. There are no rules out there. So therefore one can never be judgmental about the 7th house. Each person has his own taste. And we see over here that Venus is in an odd sign, right? Is in Aries. So which sign is stronger? Is Libra stronger or is Taurus stronger? Taurus is stronger.
There's aspect in Libra.
By Graha Drishti, not Rashi. Planetary side does not matter. Planetary side is a desire. We desire many things, we don't get them. So what do you mean by Taurus being stronger? What is the requirement of the soul? Why should Taurus be stronger for him? How is Taurus giving him strength? 8th house? What do you say? Do you think there were women in his life? There were women in Hitler's life. And what happened to those women?
They all died.
Right. They always slept from the 3rd floor window.
That's right. That was the actress.
That's right. Absurd. When I started studying about Hitler, and I said, really, Venus soul, I mean, let me see what happened about his relationships. It was absolute mess.
For some reason, all the women wanted to kill themselves.
And it's funny that he also died finally when he got married. That's a Venus activity. But then his wife also died and she killed him. Because I don't think he was brave enough to kill himself.
Sorry, what's that?
I don't think Hitler was brave enough to kill himself.
Well, apparently he shot himself whilst he bit into a cyanide capsule.
That's what they wrote in the reports. But the reality is that you can't chew and shoot at the same time. Because your brain will do one of the two things first. If it shoots, it will not chew. Because that's
Cyanide takes a couple of seconds, so maybe he had time.
that was a heavy dose. Those pills were heavy dose. Instant. And so it is, he was shot later. So to be sure that he is not alive. So anyway, it's interesting. So because there's a way we'll talk of death next time, and that's how we catch how exactly did he die. So, but did you see the Venus role over here? Venus is king. You should have listened to those women. They were very good to him. How about our ex-Prime Minister? What's his soul planet? Is it Venus or is it the Sun? The Sun is Atmakaraka, the soul. Okay? And where is the soul? It's in the 1st house. So he shall be king. But it is not the Lord of the 1st house. It is the Lord of which house? 12th house. What does the 12th house deal with in a chart? If like a chart of a Prime Minister, what will you say it deals with? Foreign matters?
Yes.
Will you say foreign matters?
Yeah.
Is EU a part of foreign matters?
Yes.
So what does the king want? That you kick me out? The king, Sun, is the lord of which house? The 12th house. What is the 12th house? Foreign matters. You have to listen to the king. You can't fight with the king. So do you think he should have done Brexit or he should not have done Brexit? As far as his chart is concerned.
No Brexit. No, should have done Brexit.
He should not have picked up the topic at all.
Yeah.
As far as his chart is concerned.
Yeah.
Because the Sun is the lord of the 12th house. Don't mess with the 12th house.
You do made a mess, big mess.
Yeah, don't mess, because if you mess, that's the problem. And you see, if you see the timing, the second time he got elected, the Sun had not started. It was just starting. He was in a cycle of Venus of 20 years when he enjoyed the beautiful time. And the cycle of the Sun started. When was that he got elected second time?
2015.
2015, and the Sun cycle, if I'm right, started barely a few months, a month or something after that. So can I say that from 2015, roughly the Sun cycle has started?
Yeah.
Once the Sun cycle starts, the problem will kick in. the problem will be related to the 12th house matter, foreign matters. And how long is the sun cycle? 6 years. So 2015 plus 6 is how much?
2021.
21.
Have you crossed it?
No.
No.
So you know when the problem will finish.
So we're living with this code?
Pardon?
We're living with this code?
You are.
We voted for him.
You are. Sometimes we don't realize it, that the karma of the Prime Minister is absolutely important.
Does he end up in a bunker with the sign?
I mean, look at nothing he said.
Recorded.
So, no, look at the Germans. Didn't they have to live the karma of Hitler?
We're still living it.
They were ready for it.
Even today, some of them are.
Yeah. They're all
But then he
going
also
down.
lost his seat as well, then he had to resign, so he had to give up.
That is the karma. That is, he went.
He's now
12th
earning
house
a
is
lot
about
more money.
opening foreign.
Lost.
What he ended up doing was the reverse. So he lost. The king closed his doors. You can't do anything against the 12th. You can't do that. So don't take a step which is going to open a can of worms. In all our charts, we have a house which is lorded by the king. Be careful of that house. Treat it with butterfingers. Careful, gentle. Study it, understand it. You see what? Will you all agree? Had he not done Brexit, he would still be Prime Minister.
Yes,
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Just the 12th house.
But he was elected, so he promised to have that.
No, that's a separate issue. Promises, look at India, all our Prime Minister, come on. Who gives promise? Don't be kidding. Okay? Don't give me that promise. Why are you holding him for promises? What about others? What about Trump? He promised to all. Where is the
No,
wall?
I can't.
You have to satisfy the right wing of the party to stay in politics.
The wall is
Pragmatic.
there. You can't see it.
Okay.
He had to satisfy the right wing because they were going to vote.
In politics, absolutely doesn't matter. All that matters is you sticking to the chair.
Yeah.
Put the tightest glue. That's politics.
Yes.
Politics is not about satisfying anybody. It's just about you and the chair. Okay, with that I think I'm done with my slides today. And I'm open to any chart that you want to throw up. Shall we have a live chart?
Yes.
Okay? Everybody says yes.
One question
Yes.
I have.
Okay.
Dara Karka is the lowest degree.
Yeah, the lowest degree
Have
among
we
them.
got the least karma with Dara?
Exactly.
We spend most of our lives with Daras and we have
That is
least
what
karma.
that. How are you able to spend so much time with the Dara? Because you have least karma.
He just turns it around. You enjoy it.
Can I ask, what if the planet with the highest karma aspects your planet with the lowest karma?
Blessed are you. Blessed are you. You know how to love. Truly, because what is the lowest karma? The 0 degrees is all about Dara Karaka. Dara Karaka is knowing how to love. Do you see people are married, but do they know how to love? You are blessed. So at least that petal which deals with love and that which deals with yourself have a beautiful.
So
Blessed is your soul.
lowest degree is better than
Those people have great love, not just for spouse, they have love for the planet. They have love for people, they have love for things. They love, that love is an important aspect of the nature.
Even if it's Mars.
Even if it is Mars. Because here the nature of the planet just decides how you will learn to love. If it is Mars, then through bad will come good. If through suffering you will become pure. Just because somebody hates you doesn't mean I have to hate the planet. For me, Dara Karaka is Rahu. What does that mean? Through cheating I will learn I should not cheat. Maybe somebody I love cheated me. That doesn't mean I will go around cheating. No. I will learn. If I am so hurt When somebody cheats me and I do the same thing, that's not good. I know how bad this thing is. So I will not cheat anybody. That's how we learn. You can learn negatively, you can learn positively. This is how we learn positively. So there must be some secret little love letter in my heart, huh? Who knows? Okay, nice question, yeah.
Sanjay, do we consider D9 in this checking out?
Oh yeah, we will do that with all the other charts and all that. That's all very complicated. I'm not even going there. I just want, do you understand what it means to be the king of a chart? Yeah.
So how does it manifest when, for example, a planet in its own sign, that it rules the sign? So let's say Mercury in Virgo.
They say that those planets are inaccessible. You know that? Planets which are supposed to be in own sign are not accessible.
So if it's the Atmakaraka, so somebody has...
I have Saturn Atmakaraka sitting in Capricorn. He's not accessible. He's too high. He's at a tattva level.
So what does that mean?
Tattva means air. To understand that Saturn, I have to understand the air element.
But would you be able to access?
I will access if I understand the air element. Air is something you can't hold on to. But air has knowledge. Knowledge is in the air. Air element has knowledge. So like that. Understand the element. If you understand the element, you will understand the Atma. The Atma is very strong because it's a known sign. But it's a very high. It's tough to understand. So you don't want Atmakaraka being a known sign. Because it's tough. Because it's tough to get there. It's not easy to go there.
No, I don't know. What in the next case, if somebody has Atmakaraka exalted?
We did one case, right? Of immortality, we saw that.
Yeah.
Exalted is pure, strong. We want the Atmakaraka to be strong, exalted, nice, good, happy. I don't want him debilitated. Moon Atmakaraka debilitated in Scorpio. That's hell. You don't have to die to see hell. You see it in this life. Why should the moon, which is the king and the soul of your life, be debilitated? That is Scorpio. What do you think you're going to see? You think that's a happy moon. If the moon is not happy, if the king is not happy, he's not happy with you. That means your life, you'll see lots of punishment. So you don't want the Atmakaraka to be weak. You got to do everything to make him strong. Worship him as Shiva. I pray to the light. Shiva means light, only light. Shiva Matra Jnana Rupa. Shiva Sutras, yeah.
What happens if the person's Atmakaraka is the sun or the moon and they have lost their parents?
You need to find somebody else who is like a parent. Maybe an elderly lady, maybe another elderly gent. Just like that. It doesn't have to be a biological father or mother. The soul, look, your biological father may not be really your soul father, you know. Soul father is very different. But see, when you are young, it is normally we tell, go to your father, go to your mom.
So going back to lineage chart, how in his case the Venus manifests itself? I missed that bit a bit. So
Because that Venus was in the 7th house of love or war. Okay, and if you look at it, if you look at his chart, the 7th house has some planets, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the degrees of Venus, Venus is at about 25 degrees. The Mars is also somewhere in 25 degrees out there. If you look at them very carefully, there is something called planetary war.
Yeah.
Venus and Mars are at war.
Right.
There is a real war in his chart. So we see planetary war. So his soul is at war. What do you think he was doing? War. That's all that he did. If you look at the soul planet, you know what this guy is going to do. Don't elect him as the Prime Minister or the President. He gets elected, he will just say the war monger.
But if it would be without Mars,
No, because you need Mars over there in the same degree. See 25, 25, you see that?
Yeah, I mean, as a kind of another example chart without Mars. What
Say
would-
without Mars, the Venus will be beautiful. What's the problem? Business, good money, good business. Get married, buy more diamonds, buy aircraft for your. No, I'll give you another chart. Libra is rising with Venus in the 7th and the Sun, but Mars has gone off to the 8th house. The guy just gifted his wife a 7 for 7. Boy. Not bad, huh?
Yeah.
You see, just that little Mars had to go away to that's the whole thing changed. Out here, see, look at that planet who is the king very carefully. Here he's in war. Mars and Venus. And Venus is dying and dying and dying and dying.
So normally Venus would be, as you said, would be.
Beautiful.
Right,
Ascendant Lord in the 7th Venus. I mean, you love your spouse. Gifting a 7 for 7. Come on. Who does that?
Mukesh Ambani. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier about eternal sort of souls, and I'm thinking about in terms of perhaps eternal personalities as well. Like sort of say like Bach or whatever. Everybody.
You got a point.
What about Hitler? We've been hearing about him for a long
Yeah, because
time.
he is not dead, because I made this death chart. And the soul, it's in a plane called, what is that name of that? Those of you who are there. There's a plane in which there is no flow, there is no ground. So he is suspended. Indefinitely suspended. Limbo.
Suspended animation.
Suspended animation. You were there. You were there in California. You were there. So you know this. See, she was there when I taught her. She can't forget it. People who are in California will not forget.
Earlier you talked about a death chart. What do you make of, or do you have any opinion on the fact that Hitler's sun was in Taurus and he died in Taurus as well?
He died, that's right. A thing that I teach people is one should never marry in the same month as his birth. I just taught that.
Married and died in Taurus.
Yeah.
I teach that. That's exactly. I taught that right now in Baba.
Yeah.
Normally one should never marry in the same month in which you are born. We are born into one house. Marriage is for another house. Don't dishonor the house in which you are born by marrying on that month.
Oh, you see that as a dishonor?
Yeah. People don't know that, but in olden days they say the son is the father. You have to honor your father on your birthday. On your birthday you are basically honoring your father. The son is the father. It's a solar return. It's strange how they look at it. They talk about marriage as the sun going away to the 7th house. So whatever, let's say your sun is in Taurus, best is when the sun would be in, let's say, Scorpio.
Scorpio, yeah.
It's natural to go to the 7th house. Why would you choose a birth?
I have a question. What if the soul's path is marriage? Then would it would make sense if it was in the first house?
First house, yes, but
If they married in the same month as their birth, it wouldn't be such a contradiction.
no, it's not a question of contradiction. It's a question of the damage. The sun delivers you in the house of your father on your birthday. Marriage is about going away from that house to build another nest. Marriage is about building another nest away from your home nest. So the timing of marriage is critical. We normally do not recommend marriage in the same month as birth, nor during the months when the sun has gone to the houses of Jupiter. Because they say, in those months, you are supposed to be with God. So there will be a coldness in the marriage which you can't explain. In marriage, picking up marriage times. One should be very careful while picking up a marriage time, because we don't want time which one of the partners will feel like running away from the marriage or like going away. This time while doing the marriages, I did the chart of Alan, Leo, and
Bessie. Yeah.
Bessie. Interesting, huh? Should go through those. Okay, I think we are done.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.